Okay, and welcome to the first What's Newman of the year. As you can see, it's just me at the moment. I checked in my co-hosts. They have gotten 2 boosters and are down for the count, so essentially sick leave. So last week, when I checked up, the only update was a skin for Central City and Zira popping in for a single collectible quest that didn't really do much, and that's already gone. So there's that. It was probably a prequel to the New Year's event that they're going to be doing. In the meantime, all that's left is these scratchers. But you can't even preview the voices, so it's like, what am I supposed to do here? Granted, they're all in Japanese, but that's not necessarily a problem, provided you can hear what they sound like before you buy. Omaha. I don't think all of these were even in classic mode. I know some of these were in the Japanese version, but I don't think they were in the all these were in the classic global. It's nice that we finally get them back, or finally get them in global though. As well as some returning weapon camos.
Attention
No,
all
I'm
Arcs
not going to
defenders.
preview
We are
all
beginning
of
a
them,
counter-offensive
so
against dolls appearing in the Retem region. We request the participation of
many
all
of them are
Arcs
just
defenders.
popular returns. Some of them, I think, were collaborations too. High-tech sniper rifle, I guess. So the 4 scratchers, and here's the actual stuff I can show off, really. Most of these are just updated versions of existing outfits with style tweaks. Like this outfit without the hoodie. Most of them do seem to be female geared, however. Nice to see that one back. I wonder if its price dropped because of it. Nope, still as expensive as ever. Okay, I'm gonna reset my appearance really quick before returning accessories. Don't think any of the accessories in particular are new. Just returned. Some of them may be variants of previous accessories though, like the RD version, the Maid hairband. It's nice that they actually return some of these so that maybe it's more affordable for the average player. It's still ridiculous that hair and animations are generally about 4K a piece, though. Well, animation changes. Isn't that like the Austin Powers dance? It's actually pretty good. How much is it? Oh, that's actually cheap. Damn it, didn't mean to back out that far. Honestly, the animations and hairstyles for $4 mil a piece is ridiculous. I can understand a mil, maybe 1.2 mil, up to 1.5 mil most, but 4 to 8 mil on average is fucking bankruptcy. So, in a nutshell, what's new?
Good to see ya.
As you can see, I'm still rocking my Christmas outfit, but honestly, it's one that I've seen mainly because I always like the whole collar shoulder thing with the cape. Now, if I could get a long, like one without the construction stripes, and maybe like a more trench coat like thing without that brown thing, that would be perfect, but for now, this is like my go-to. So that's this week's One Newman. I'll be uploading it onto my YouTube channel as soon as this is over. I'm sorry I wasn't able to show off everything. That's partly due to the fact that there's no previews for the voice types. and I haven't had enough time to work on my second character that I repurposed for the whole What's Newman segment. So my newscaster mutt, let's put it that way. And I say mutt because it's a cross between Newman and Cast and literally every race in the game. Except for Beasts, because, well, Beasts aren't in NGS/PSO2 at the moment, unless you count the face type. They did, actually, come to think of it, they did say something about adding new face morphs that are included. So basically just the Flawless, Masked Face T2, and Sylphid Face. Meh. Still nothing compared to the options in classic PSO2. Other than graphical assets of PSO2 and NGS and the quality of life aspects of like free roam included in NGS, it honestly feels like a downgrade since the Phantasy Star Universe and Phantasy Star Portable and Portable 2 releases. Of course, I probably mentioned this before, but there were a sheer incredible different variety of weapons in those. I mean, you had claws, you got single daggers, dual daggers, bows, arrows, whips, automatic shooters, single, you had main hand. Every one-handed weapon had two variations. You had offhand and single hand, so you could have a daggering handgun and equipped, or a saber and shield. And then you had the layer systems, which were broken down into feet slot, leg slot, chest slot. Now, it's kinda better with this, but at the same time not, mainly because it's broken down into layers instead of locations when it should be both. So it should be like feet inner, feet outer / base, lower inner, or torso inner, hips, torso, whatever, inner and outer / base, and then chest up should have inner, base, and outer, basically. So they're kinda on it, but the fact that they've merged all those layers and that, so that you're forced with whatever shoes or whatever they have is bad, and then replace it with accessories. Now, I think I've mentioned this before as well. My friends were talking about how inner mostly useless in this game. But yet, if you go to the salon, you've only got 2 slots for and makeup / face paint. A lot of the accessories need to be rebudgeted, but the new accessory system is pretty good. Although I feel like they could also like adjust some of the attachment points rotational points for many accessories, because I've seen somebody try to take a shoulder cannon, for example. It's mounted on the back of the right shoulder, right? By default. At a slight angle, and it only one. There's no alternative variants. Duplicate it, try to mount it identically to the left shoulder is nearly impossible. Another thing they could do is probably update the height interface to include the CM next to it, so the player community realizes, oh, that's centimeter measurements. Okay, so making a freaking 6 foot tall girl is hard. Stuff like that, you know? Because most people seem ingullible, at least, feet for some reason. I don't know. Are nonsense as far as height. When it comes to body paint, having the option to use a third body paint instead of innerwear would be nice. In addition, we need more makeup slots. At least 4 in total, especially with many of the new makeups that have right and left and whatnot. These would really help the general development and character design. So, also, we need to find a way to better balance the player market, especially with new hairstyles and stuff, because the prices are just not going down. They're going up, and casual players like myself who don't dedicate don't have enough time to grind for everything cosmetic, game wise, and everything, which from the description of the new announcement thing, every couple months they're going to solve the problem of the game being too boring by increasing the level cap. Well, that to me literally sounds like, okay, so our game's too boring, so let's make one of the most boring and repetitive aspects of the game, the grind for levels, and make it more common, take more time. This game already does not have any boost system for helping your friends level up fast enough so that you could do co-op activities. Doesn't have activities, period. Doesn't have enough content, so their answer is essentially make the same mistakes and enhance them. That's what I got out of that. If they might work if they do it right, but I have not seen a game that does it right. At least not. Probably not since the golden age of JRPGs. Which, let's face it, the golden age for JRPGs was basically the last true ones were literally Final Fantasy 7, maybe up to 10, and after that JRPGs were just tropes, cliches, and gacha. And that's in a nutshell. But they also, like, tend to be graphical crap fests. I mean, a lot of them that I've seen make Minecraft look like a AAA graphical game. In that sense, NGS freaking rocks, and it's like quadruple AAA freaking awesomeness with graphic quality. But outside of that, many of the key gameplay elements are outdated, out of style, and overused. And really have been killing off JRPGs for many people. Now, I'm not saying gacha systems don't have a place in JRPGs. Neither does, and I'm not saying the grind either is. However, you have to do it in a way that works, and it is balanced for both hardcore and casual players. And it's not a total money grab, even with a free-to-play game. Which, unfortunately, JRPGs have failed to find that sweet spot, or even anything but the horrible slot from what I've seen. But then again, most JRPGs are on PC, not available in my region on PC, or are on PlayStation. Don't own PlayStation. My 360 graphics card's better than what I'm running on my computer. Literally, I could not run classic PSO2 be above, slightly above medium grade graphics without losing most of the frame rates because of the graphics card. Of course, it's all refurbished tech that was pre-built into a computer, so unfortunately the motherboard's also like 12 years old, so there's not a whole lot I could do about it without buying a whole new computer, and that's just a nightmare right now. So I'm stuck with my aging original first generation refurbished 1TB Xbox One, not the Xbox One S or the Xbox One X, just the first 1TB version of the Xbox One, refurbished at GameStop, and originally came from the box with a Kinect, though I bought the Kinect separately, also refurbished. So, in my bedroom where my Xbox is when I stream, Kinect won't work because my room is too small. Another thing they didn't cover in the news broadcast. They didn't mention anything about alliances or personal quarters. They advertise more seasonal events. They'll be adding wind weapons with wind weapon ornaments, but did not say whether those ornaments will also have the CVs or not, if they'll return the previous elemental weapons as at least ornaments with their CVs or not, as well as add CVs for those previous elemental weapons. There's a lot that they left incomplete and unavailable. Also to note, one of the animations that were supposed to be introduced, and one of the previous scratchers that were supposed to be dropped with Alio, was essentially the Iron Man flight. Instead of the glide streamers coming out of the feet, it would come out of the hands like Iron Man's propulsor system. Apparently, they decided not to include that. And cut it for some reason. I don't know why. I recently started messing around with the collaboration of Grand Summoner with the Jobless Reincarnation. There's less than 14 days left, so I probably won't get any of the characters because of how gacha heavy it is. But it has all the collabs I would ever want to see, or like 90% of all the collabs I would ever want to see in NGS/PSO2 to begin with. Because that, it would probably be better for them to just work with Grand Summoners to do a 3-way collabs. In other words, every time Grand Summoner has collaboration, that collaboration also affects NGS. Outside of that, I would like to see the last collab they did in Global, the SAO collab, continue. Because they were like, into next time, yada yada. So, there's got to be more sure of that. And with new SAO content coming out, I would like to see more collabs of that. In another world with my smartphone, High School DxD, and Final Fantasy VII, the remake mainly, and Halo Infinite would also be great collabs. Just because, well, having various Spartan armor type game armor sets, outfits in the game with the weapon camos would have an interesting effect, especially if they had cast bodies for those. Of course, it would also be interesting to have the option to have vehicles in this game. Something that a lot of MMOs have had when they're free roam like this, but NGS has not. Of course, many MMOs don't have as many loading screens, don't have as many issues, and don't use as many outdated server systems and limited server systems either, so I don't know how that would work. But being able to drive, say, a Halo Infinite Warthog, or ride these camels, like a vehicle, would definitely be interesting. Not to say that having a photon fly instead of just a glide would also be a nice function, even if it's by an emote or alternative version to a vehicle. So, invisible vehicle, like an invisible jet type thing. And I've mentioned it before, but we really need to go finally get some background story on what the hell happened to the Oracle fleet in the last 1,000 years and what happened to our favorite characters. Why did we wake up in a pod that crash landed without aging? And what have we missed? Where is everybody? Stuff like that. Why does nobody remember? I also did a count, and the base continent has Aleo, Rentem as 2 unlocked regions. And we have the Tundra region, obviously, the Volcano region, and that floating continent region, at the very least, to add to NGS before they're done. Now, there might be more regions that we have yet to see. I honestly don't know. I haven't had enough time to even explore all of Renton. But as you can see, how much I did explore. So, I think that covers everything I needed to cover for the time being. So, until next time, this has been What's Newman.